Welcome back to another episode of Crypto Miner Tips, and in today's tip we're going to be talking about the best GPUs to use for mining cryptocurrencies. And so a while back I actually created this blog post as kind of like a buyer's guide, so people can kind of have a list that they can refer to from time to time of some of the best graphics cards that you can use to mine cryptocurrencies with. And so what it really boils down to when you're looking at buying a GPU for this purpose is there's three main factors that you have to look at. And so the first one is cost. And what most people don't realize is that these GPU, these graphics cards, they can cost anywhere from $150 on the low end on upwards of $1,300 on the high end for like the 1080 Ti's, the 2080 Ti's, things like that. The second thing that you need to really take a look at is the hash rate. Now, if you're new to mining, you're just getting in, hash rate really, what they're referring to there is it's the speed at which the card can mine. And so, that's going to directly affect your profits. And if a card has a low hash rate and you don't know that and you buy it, you're not going to get as much profit with that card. So you really need to, pay attention to the hash rate. The third thing is the power consumption. And so, if a card has if it has a good hash rate, you get it at a great price, but you weren't aware that it's a power hungry card, that's going to run your electric bill up, and it's, that's going to cut into your profit. So you kind of need to be careful of, certain cards out there that are power hungry. If you look at this chart right here, this has kind of changed now that they've got some overclocking, but the AMD Vega 56 for a long time used to be a really, really power hungry card. It would run up your electric bill like crazy and just cut into your profit. It wasn't a very profitable card at all. What's funny about that though is that somebody's created an overclocking tool for this and was able to increase the performance of that card dramatically. And so now the price of that card has gone up significantly because it is a good fit for mining. So which really ties into my next subject is the reason I will be recommending at least one card to buy in here, but I wanted to create this buyer's guide as a list so that people can refer to it, because if that graphics card gets sold out, it's nice to have a list of other options to look at. And so what most anybody that's new to mining probably doesn't know that back in 2017 a lot of these graphics cards were sold out. Some of these graphics cards that were normally $200 to $300 were costing $500, $600, $700, even $800 for a graphics card. And so if one of these graphics cards is sold out, at least you get a list here that you can look at from time to time. And so you're going to want to try and get your card at the best price. And so a lot of people always ask me, well, what's the best graphics card to get? And I say, well, let's go see what's on sale right now. So the other thing is that if you're buying these cards from Amazon, which I recommend that you either get them from Amazon or Newegg, you can also apply for an Amazon Prime card and get 1.5% cash back. I think when I bought my graphics cards, I ended up getting a couple $100 back just by using that card. So just take that into some consideration when you're looking at buying these cards. The first card that I'm actually be talking about, now this card's actually been it's been around for a while now, and it's the AMD RX 580 and the 570s as well. Now if you're looking to mine Ethereum, this is probably one of the best cards out there, just because the price of this card is pretty significantly cheap right now. So let's see, right now you can get this card for about $159, $174. I wouldn't recommend paying $329. If you could see, also too, in this guide I got an acceptable maximum buying price, so I would not pay more than $300 for this card. Now if it was a bull market and the profits were really, really high, maybe I would buy that card for $329. But right now, with the way the market is, and with all the options that's out there, there's no need to pay $329 for a Sapphire Nitro card right now. And so the other thing about this guide right here too is we already got the hash rates in here, and so you can kind of see the power consumption, the hash rate across a few different algorithms. And so the other thing that you can do, which is kind of cool, is you can head over to what to mine and actually find that GPU, the RX 580. And so you just hit calculate. Let me back up here for a second. So if you guys are, for those that are new to mining and new to what to mine, I'm going to have a link down in the description below for all this. But what you're going to want to do is just select the GPU that you want to get the data for, and then just put the number of GPUs that you're looking to purchase. Now for this guide, I'm just putting 1 in there, and then you go down here and you're going to adjust your electric rate. And so you know, you just want to figure out what your price per kilowatt hour is so you can kind of be exact. Now, I will tell you that this calculator, it's not an exact science with this. It's just more of an estimated, you know, profitability. So just, you know, kind of take that into consideration. Don't be, you know, too exact with this is what I mean. So, you know, this card right here is making -6 cents a day right now, which is kind of sad. But, you know, on the contrary, you can get this card at an incredible price. You know, you could pick them up for, oops. Anyways, might as well go here anyways. You could pick these cards up for right around $159, you know, $184 on average. And, you know, like I said, you know, these cards used to range anywhere from $200 to $300, or probably about anywhere from $250 to $300. So to be able to get this card right now at $159 is a steal. And so I can guarantee you this: if the crypto market, no, I shouldn't say if, and again, this isn't financial advice, but when the crypto market goes back up, you're going to see the prices of this card right here. You're going to see it skyrocket and go right back through the roof. You know, some of the popular brands to get with this too, as well as the I really like the XFX because it does come with a mild BIOS flash. So if you know, if you're new to mining, you know, I would recommend getting this one right here if you're looking for an AMD card, just because it does have a BIOS flash on there for mining. So you could switch it, you know, switch it over, you know, switch the BIOS. Boom, you're in mining mode. And then if you want to, you know, use it as a gamer, you know, you turn the computer off, switch the switch, put it back over into gaming mode, and it's super easy. You know, some of the other popular cards in the 580 series is the Sapphires. The Sapphire Nitros, man, you know, for a while there, those cards were sold out everywhere. You could not get your hands on them in late 2017, early 2018. And so now's the time to get them, you know. Even some of the RX 570 8 gigs. I wouldn't get a 4 gig card right now just because of, you know, a lot of the, you know, these algorithms now, they're starting to harden their chains so that you can't mine with, like, you know, you got to have some of these algorithms, you got to have at least an 8 gigabyte, you know, size card in there to be able to even, you know, mine that algorithm. So I would not recommend getting a 4 gigabyte card right now. I just wouldn't do it. So I would actually skip over this. I'm going to actually delete this pretty soon here. Now, if you can get them at a pretty decent price, if you can pick those cards up for, like, say you can get them secondhand or something like that for $50, go ahead. I would say go ahead and buy it because that's a really good deal. But if you're looking at buying brand new with all the options that are on the market right now, I would stick with the 8 gig. The second card that I would recommend is the 1078 gig. Now, this card's it's an older card too. But you know, if this is one card that I had, you know, if it was one overall card that performed well across all the different algorithms, you know, it would probably be the 1070. Now, the issue with that is I don't think that there's too many of these left on the market. Let me check Amazon real quick here. I'm gonna have to type in 8 gig. Yeah, so they're still, wow. What's crazy is I used to be able to get these cards for right around $375 to $400. Let's see what I got it set at in here. The maximum buying, yeah, $400. I would not pay for a 1070, I would not pay $589 for it. I would try to catch it somewhere, in this price range right here. So you can get the Asus GeForce for $349. The Zotac, that's a pretty decent card. The fans kind of wear out on this card, so be mindful of the Zotac stuff. That's a great card, but it's not a great price. But the 1070, even the EVGAs, you can't go wrong with it if the price is right. So right now, the price on the 1070s are kind of high. Let's see what the daily profits are though on this 1070s. Let's deselect that card. Calculate it at a 12-cent rate. So it makes a whole whopping 6 cents a day right now. Again, like I said, that's pretty low, but that's because the markets are kind of down right now, so the profits are screwed up. So you just kind of got to look at it from a long-term perspective. That's the only thing I can tell you. So you kind of got to be a believer in this, and you got to be a believer, and just got to trust that the market's going to go back up. And I'm actually going to talk about that here in a second. I got a chart to kind of put things into perspective for you. The other card that I would look at buying, if you can find these, now I would actually probably try to catch this. I would try to buy this card used right now, possibly, because it is, to buy it brand new can be pretty pricey. But I do have a few rigs built with this series of card, and that's the 1080 Ti's. And so these ones right here, I mean, they're amazing for mining. It's just really, can you get them at a good price? And so let's see, right now, I think I paid about somewhere around $600. I guess $900 is the acceptable maximum buying price for this. But even then, I would say I'm going to actually probably lower that down to about $700. I wouldn't pay any more than $700 to $750 for a 1080 Ti right now. The crazy thing is let's see here. Check the Facebook Marketplace. See if you can get one for a steal. Let's see here. So you can get some of these. Now you got to be careful. I'm actually going to be creating a guide pretty soon here on buying used graphics cards. But this is, if you know what you're doing and you know how to test these cards, this is a great way to get deals on these graphics cards. So $650, $250, $250 seems really, really cheap to me. So that I would be asking a lot of questions at $250. But if it works, I'd be definitely interested. So $400 is a good deal on a 1080 Ti. So if you can catch this secondhand, and again, you got to kind of know what you're doing. So where's this $450? He's even got the case for it. So anyways, that's if you're looking for density, that's probably one of the best cards in the market. So if you got a small area that you can't have a lot of mining rigs, but you want to get the most performance that you can out of a small area, the 1080 Ti is going to be one of your best bets. The 1066 gig, I'm actually thinking about taking this off the list, but if you can get it for a deal, it's actually not a bad card. Let's see here, I wouldn't pay $450 for it, but if you can get it at $300, that's probably about the max range that I would buy it at. But let's see what the profits are on that. And did we check real quick here while we're at it? We'll just check the 1080 Ti real quick. So check the 1080. So 21 cents a day. That's getting better. It's getting better. So, but let's check the 1060 real quick too as well. So. Looks like I might have to update this guide some and get rid of some cards and add some to it. So makes 1 cent a day after electricity on a 12-cent rate. So not too impressed with that. So But if you can get, I mean, if you can get these cards for around 150 bucks, maybe even 100 bucks. Let's see here. You can get these cards probably secondhand too as well. $1066 gig. Yeah, $150. I mean, I'd buy that all day for 150, but you know, again, with all the options that are out there right now, it wouldn't be my first choice. Let's put it that way. So I might keep that on the list for a little while, but you know, like I said, it's not top of my list. This next card though, this right here, the 1660 Ti right now is pretty much it's pretty much all the rage on the internet right now. So if you can get one of these cards, the cool thing is this card right here has an extremely low power consumption versus its hash rate. So it can mine at the equivalent to a 1070, but at 90 watts. So I think that the 1070, where's it at? Yeah, the 1070 mines 30 megahashes at 120 watts on average. This 1660 matches that. Let's see here, at 90 watts. And so if that's one card that I could recommend for 2019 going into 2020, it would probably be the 1660 Ti 6 gig. And so you know, the price on it's right around $270. I have seen it as low as $249. You know, and it looks like to me the if I had to pick one, let's see here. I think it'd be this MSI one that I keep seeing in all the Reddits and stuff like that. So the only issue is once people find out, yeah, it's this one right here, this MSI Gaming Force one right here. The only issue is when people target one card, it gets sold out really quickly. So, you know, if you can get it when it's available, great. But if it's sold out, you know, any one of these other 1660 Ti's would work probably just fine for this. And so, let's see here. You know, the EVGA, even though it's got a single fan on it. The Gigabyte one, you know, if Gigabyte's okay. I do have some Gigabyte 1070s that, you know, probably some of the best 1070s that I have next to the Founder series. But, you know, I don't know about any of the other models of cards when it comes to Gigabyte, but the 1070 is rock solid. But yeah, you can get this card relatively cheap, and it's probably arguably one of the best cards overall for 2019 going into, I would say, obviously going into 2020 as well. So this other new card for this year that I would be recommending is the AMD Radeon 5, or I don't even know how to pronounce that. So it's kind of funny, right? But this it's a 16 gigabyte card, and so this one right here, it does have a little bit more power to it, but I got to update this too as well, because I think that there's been reports of people getting this up to 100 megahashes at 200 watts. This card is a beast, but I'm going to tell you, if you're new to mining and you're new to overclocking graphics cards, you're going to run into some issues trying to make this thing stable, just because it does take a little bit more of experience in fiddling with these cards when you get an AMD card, just because you do have to flash the BIOS. But the cool thing is that this is within the acceptable maximum buying price. It comes in around, you know, right around $700. So let's check the daily on that one. And did we check the daily? I don't think we checked the daily on the 1660 Ti either. Let's check that first. So the 1660 Ti makes right around 16 cents a day. So, you know, if you looked at the 1080 Ti, it was making around 20 cents a day. Again, 16 cents isn't a lot, but once, you know, the thing you got to keep in mind is once this bull market does kick back in, a lot of these graphics cards will make anywhere from $2 to $6 a day, which is really, really good profit. and so you can kind of get your money back quick. So you can't really gauge off the profits that you're currently going to make. You kind of like I said, you kind of have to wait till this market turns around and kicks back in, and that's where you're going to get your return on your investment. And again, that's if you're a believer in cryptocurrency. Again, this isn't financial advice. This is just what I'm doing. So, 16 cents a day, and so that's not bad for, for $279. That's not bad right now, considering everything, all the other graphics cards that we're looking at. Where's that AMD Radeon right here? So this one right here. See, look, it costs almost, $300-400 more, and it only makes 2 cents more. So, in my opinion, this, this is not the best card to buy. It's it'll mine cryptocurrency, and it'll mine it faster than any other card out there, but it's going to take you longer to get your money back out of it, just like the 1080 Ti will, unless you can get it on a deal. And so, check it out if you want. It's right there. This last card here, I'm actually going to delete this. It was been a while since I've had this guide up, but the 1050 Ti's, I actually, when the market was sold out, when the shelves were looking like this right here, and all the graphics cards were gone, this card right here actually was the only card that was in stock, and so I was able to get these cards at right around $100 each, brand new, and I built several 8-card mining rigs with these cards right here, and in the height of Bitcoin's bull run, those rigs were making anywhere from $8 to $13 a day. So I got my money back out of them, but again, it was because the price of those cards were so low, nobody really knew about them. Then shortly after I bought them, though, everybody else kind of caught on that you could still mine with them. And of course, the price of those cards went up dramatically. So I actually got them for, like I said, right around it was like right around $100. You can't even get them for $100 right now, I don't think. I wouldn't recommend buying them right now. I wouldn't. I think these cards are probably going to end up getting phased out, like some of the other older cards. But look, $230, $183. There's just no way in hell I would buy this card. So I'm going to have to take that off the list. But some of the other cards that I would be recommending is, these P104s. If you can actually find these on a discount, I actually think that you can actually get these on a deal. So yeah, I mean, Amazon's selling them for, they actually got pretty great, they have a nice hash rate to them, so you can get these for $249. I would actually recommend getting them, but the only thing is that there's not a lot of them on the market. It's actually a mining specific card, so it doesn't have any ports on it or anything like that. It was specifically engineered for mining, but it wasn't like a card they mass produced a lot of them. And so, again, once the mining profits kick back in, I suspect that these will be another card that's just going to get sold out really, really quickly. So, and I don't think they have those on what to mine. They don't have them on the chart, but I could pull those stats from somewhere else and get the projected profits. The other cards at the time, when I wrote this article, the 2080 Ti, I think they were selling for right around $1,400. Yeah, and so you can get them for about $1,400. I don't know what the daily profits are on them. Right around 37 cents, but at 37 cents for $1,300, it's going to take you forever to get your money back out of that card. So, it's not high on my list of cards to recommend. The RTX 2070 that just came out this year. What the heck is going on here? You can get those cards. Let me see here. Let's see how much these cards are going for. So right around the same price that you can get a 1070. Let's see what the daily profits are on that. So let's see here. 2070. So right around 17 cents, which is comparable to the 1660 Ti. That's why I don't have it on top on the list up there. But you know, when you can only, when you can get a 1660 Ti for $279 versus paying, almost what $516 for a 2070, you're better off just going with the 1660 Ti, or if you want to get a really cheap rig. So that the way that the market currently sits, I would actually, if I had to get, say what's the best card to buy right now, I would say get the 1660 Ti. That's going to give you the best hash performance. If that's, if that doesn't tickle your fancy, then I would recommend, strongly recommend getting a, you could build a nice Ethereum rig out of this. Now, some miners will say that you shouldn't buy the AMD RX 580s because they're getting ready to phase out, but in my opinion, there's always going to be a coin that you can mine with these. These cards are just going to go dead. And then if I had to, probably I'd actually would recommend the RX 580s, 570s in third place, but in second place, I would recommend getting a 1070, or even looking into the second-hand market on Facebook Marketplace or eBay or something like that, and maybe possibly picking up some 1080 Ti's if I can get a really good deal on them. The other thing is if you're looking to buy a mining rig, it is kind of ideal to get all of the same cards. So you're going to want to try, and if you're looking to build a mining rig, you're going to want to try to get at least 4 to 8 cards of the exact same make and model, because if you can run a rig with mixed cards, but you're going to have to just keep in mind that you're going to have to put a separate overclock setting on each card, because each manufacturer kind of has its own architecture, and so the overclock settings that you put on one graphics card isn't going to be the same overclock settings that you put on another graphics card. So I hope that makes sense. And so that's really it as far as that goes. Now, I did say that I would bring up the talk a little bit about the future of cryptocurrency mining. And so what most people don't realize, we are, well, let's see here, we are somewhere right in here. Okay, now if you look right here, these are what you call the halvings, and so this is when the Bitcoin mining block rewards step down. So anybody, if you're new to cryptocurrency mining, when Bitcoin first started out, you could mine cryptocurrency on a laptop, and the block rewards, each block that you mined was worth 50 Bitcoin. Now, in Satoshi's code, when he was writing the code for Bitcoin, he designed it so that every 4 years, that block reward would cut in half. Okay, so that's why they call it the halving. And so, if you look historically on the chart here, pretty much every time one of these halvings has happened, so as you can see it right here, and then the price had shot up right after that, and it took off on another bull market, and then obviously the bear market kicked in and it went back down. And so, the halving happened again right here. Boom. 2017, this is where the mining profits right in here. I would say the mining profits were good all the way up through here. And so this is where you're going to make all your money in mining. Okay, so this right here was amazing profits. Everybody was just raving all over the internet about how wonderful mining was, and that's what essentially caused the shortage in these graphics cards. Now they're just falling off the shelves everywhere. Everybody's trying to get rid of them. But so if you look at the chart here, and this is all the professional traders keep talking about this, and so if you look at this right here, where are we at? So we're going to say December. So we're somewhere right in here. The next halving is going to start at the end of probably somewhere around May or June, I think. And so, that's when we really suspect that the market's going to take off again. So, we're going to probably go through another, couple more months of, maybe 5 or 6 months of this chop where it's up, down, up, down. The mining profits aren't going to be, as good. So there's plenty of time to, in my humble honest opinion, and again, I'm going to say this again, this is not financial advice, so don't take it like that and say that, Dustin over at Crypto Miner Tips told me to buy this. But, this is, do your own research, back it up with the data that I'm giving you, draw your own conclusion, okay? Don't just take what I'm saying and go ahead and just buy graphics cards because I said it's the right time to get in. But a lot of people feel like this is the right time to get in, because if you're buying graphics cards when this bull market kicks back in, these prices are going to be through the roof, and I would not recommend buying it. Yeah, you're going to be in profit. You're going to be making profits daily, but you're going to be in a race to try and get your money back. So right now is the time to kind of get the best deals possible. And so I hope that makes sense. And so the last thing that I wanted to bring up is, we have over at Crypto Miner Tips, we have a Facebook group. And so I'm going to have a link down in the description below to this. And so this group over here is just for anybody that's looking to get into cryptocurrency mining. Maybe you're new to mining and you need some help and stuff like that, and you got all these questions that you want to ask and everything like that. I started this group, and there's only 25 members in here right now, so I'm trying to keep it small. Probably only going to put maybe a maximum of 300 to 500 people in here, so it's so I don't have to moderate it and constantly nurture it and stuff like that. And so if you want and even if you're a professional miner and you just want to come in and hang out on the page, stop on over. We'd love to have you in there. And so yeah, the Facebook groups is there for the Facebook group is there for you if you need it. And so that's really it. Thanks for this. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching Crypto Miner Tips, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.